You cannot pop a pill and get a six-pack, but you can pop a pill that makes it easier to burn fat. It sounds like make-believe, but the science is actually pretty solid, but there are some rules you need to follow. This is Nick at BarBend.com, and Legion sent us their very famous fat burner, Phoenix, for us to take a look at. So today I'm going to talk about the brand, I'm going to talk about how fat burners actually work, the ingredients, the potential effects that you could potentially be able to expect from this, the price, and I've also interviewed a researcher and bodybuilder who's been taking this product for quite a while and said it helped him shred from 8% to 5% body fat. Taking this product, of course, is not the only thing he did to get there. I'm going to get into all that down the line. If you want to skip to the end and just find out what my favorite fat burners are across many categories, across the entire industry, just head to Google and type in BarBend plus best fat burners to get my full roundup. But for now, what's Legion all about? So Legion is based in Virginia. They were founded by Mike Matthews, and they're one of these newer supplement companies on the market. I actually take their pretty tasty watermelon flavored creatine pretty much every day, and their pre-workout Pulse I named as one of the best pre-workouts on the market. What I like about Legion, I wouldn't call myself a fanboy or anything, but what I like about them is that on their website, when they make a claim, they pretty much always attach at least one study to it. Now, one study isn't always definitive or anything like that, but they do try harder than many of their competitors to back up their claims. Like, you probably know that there are heaps of supplement companies out there that underdose their ingredients, or they use proprietary blends, or they just make generally kind of shady claims. Legion is more sensible. They're a sensible supplement company, and that's what I like about them. Now, Phoenix is one of two fat burners the company put out. The other one is Forge, which is more of a pre-workout fat burner. But Phoenix is a fat burner you're supposed to take throughout the day. And today, we're answering the question, why should you believe that one little pill can help you burn fat? Now, there are four main ways these kinds of products can help with fat loss. The first and the most important is appetite suppression. If you are less hungry, you are going to consume fewer calories, probably, and calorie balance is far and away the most important part of fat loss. So a couple of really famous ingredients for appetite suppression are glucomannan and psyllium husk, because they expand in the stomach, so they help to suppress hunger in that way. But there are some other products that help to more indirectly influence appetite by affecting your mood. So popular examples of that is 5-HTP and even nicotine gum some people use as well. Then there's thermogenesis. So thermogenesis refers to burning more calories than you would otherwise, and a really popular ingredient in fat loss products is capsaicin. That's an ingredient in chili peppers that makes it spicy. And there's a decent amount of studies that suggest that dosing various amounts of capsaicin can help you burn 50 to 100 extra calories a day. Now, you can always just consume fewer calories, which again is why appetite suppression is so important. But those extra little 50 to 100 calories, they can really add up, especially if you're preparing for a meet or a competition, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. Then there's fat oxidation. So that sort of means that it coaxes your body into burning fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. Now, exercise is far and away the best way to do that, but there are some other substances that some studies have suggested could potentially help with that. Green tea extract is a really popular one. Finally, there are some compounds like white kidney bean extract or green coffee bean extract that some studies suggest may lower the amount of calories you absorb from meals that you have eaten. Now, not all of these categories are mutually exclusive. Like capsaicin probably helps with increased thermogenesis and fat oxidation, and maybe a little bit from appetite suppression as well. But these are the four broad categories. So where does Legion fit into all this? So Phoenix has a big emphasis on ingredients that are found in citrus fruits. It's got Synephrine, Naringin, and Hesperidin, which are mostly known for being found in bitter orange and grapefruit and lemon, respectively, although they are found in some other places. So why would you want to use those to burn fat? Well, besides the fact that Synephrine appears to be a mild appetite suppressant, there are some studies that suggest that these ingredients can help you to burn more fat, like to speed up your metabolism. There was one study, it was a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized study that was published in the International Journal of Medical Science, which found that all these ingredients together may enhance the fat-burning effect. So they found that with these participants in this study, their resting metabolic rate increased by 200 calories, and that was without increasing their heart rate or blood pressure, which is very significant. Now, that's just one study, and there are other studies that suggest the increased calorie burn is more like 100 calories. Nonetheless, that's pretty significant. Very interestingly, Phoenix also contains some salicin, which some studies suggest may even further enhance those effects, because it blocks the production of molecules which inhibit the effects, particularly with regard to synephrine. Then there's also 5-HTP in this, which is another pretty common ingredient in fat burners. So it's often used in fat burners because it appears to help with serotonin production, so it can help with mood and appetite suppression, or rather it increases the satiety that you get from the food that you do eat. Now, there are a lot of the studies that have shown that usually use 3 times the amount that's found in this product here, but nonetheless, those studies are usually on very obese people, and there's probably still some mild effect from it anyway. And especially it's important for a lot of people when they're in a really severe calorie deficit. There are a lot of anecdotal reports that 5-HTP helps you keep the hangry appetite away. I'm just going to mention 2 other ingredients really quickly. There is Forskolin, which is an extract from an Indian herb traditionally used in Ayurvedic medicine, but it's actually not that woo-woo. There are some studies. There was a really popular one published in 2005 that found that it increased fat loss and also increased bone strength as well while it was at it. And there's also EGCG, which is a very powerful antioxidant that's found in green tea extract. It's like the reason why green tea extract is such a popular ingredient in fat loss supplements. And there are a couple of studies that have found that it also increases fat oxidation and also reduces belly fat, like specifically around the abdomen. There are a couple of other ingredients in this product, so if you want to do a really deep dive into it, just Google the full written review, just Google BarBend plus best fat burners. Let's just forget about all the science and the studies and all the theory for a minute. What happens when you actually take this product in the real world? So I spoke to Christopher Barakat. He is a bodybuilder and researcher and nutrition lecturer at the University of Tampa. And he's also a sponsored athlete from Legion. I do need to make that clear. He is sponsored by Legion. But he said he used this product to help himself cut down from 8% to 5% body fat. So I spoke with him and I asked him, I mean, look, doesn't this just burn like an extra 100 calories a day?
In terms of, how many calories per day you're going to be burning above your baseline without the supplement, you're right. 50 to 70 calories per day is the most you're going to typically get out of these supplements. However, I guess it makes a pretty significant difference over an 8-week span. Are you going to get some enhancement in terms of how many calories you're burning at rest? Yeah, for sure. But I think the biggest part is just keeping that appetite under control once things get hard, so you're not going to overindulge,
As I mentioned earlier, controlling appetite is a super important part of fat loss. And you might have heard all those ingredients earlier and thought this is mostly about fat oxidation, but Mr. Barakat said that the effect on appetite and mood was really significant as well, because he was using this during the last 8 weeks of bodybuilding show preparation. And any bodybuilder will tell you those last 8 weeks when you're trying to lose those last few percentage points of body fat are absolutely the most grueling. And when you are that low on calories and that low in body fat, your mood can really take a hit. And this is where Mr. Barakat found Phoenix to be really, really useful.
I really also love the fact that there's 5-HTP in there, because your mood starts to change once calories get low for an extended period of time. And 5-HTP definitely helped me, whether it was due to, serotonin being increased or not, definitely made my mood just better overall. When I was super low calorie and depleted, my energy levels were definitely down, but I wasn't necessarily mentally fatigued and zombied out. So I think that, the tyrosine helps, the synephrine helps, the 5-HTP comes in. So it all adds up. And I think Phoenix really played a big role in me just not feeling hangry all the time.
But look, this product isn't just about mood. Especially EGCG really does have a very strong link with fat oxidation. And I mean, it's a very sexy sounding term, but I'm the first to say that if you're particularly overweight, it's probably not going to be a very big deal. It's much more important just to focus on calories and exercise. But if you are very, very lean and looking to get rid of those last few percentage points of body fat, it could well be pretty important.
Obviously, I love the green tea extract, right? There's a lot of research supporting its use. The fact that it increases metabolic rate a bit can definitely help with lipolysis and fat oxidation. So that's definitely good, but it's also very common. You see that in a lot of different fat burners. I don't think you can, spot reduce body fat loss by any means, but there are some studies that support, that at least show your waist circumference is decreasing when utilizing stuff like green tea extract. Now, when it comes to the price can always change at any time, but you're looking at between $30 and $40 for a tub here, which is of 30 servings. So each serving is 5 pills. You meant to take that throughout the day. Normally it's 3 pills with the first meal, then 2 at the next meal. So that comes to roughly $1.15 per serving, $1.15 per day, which is pretty reasonably priced, honestly. Most good fat burning supplements are about $2 per day. Most not so good ones are $1 per day. So I'm used to seeing $2 per day as a reasonable price. So $1.15, I was pretty impressed. Okay, so why should you get a little bottle of Legion's Phoenix? Well, the guy who designed it is Curtis Frank, who used to be the research director at examine.com. And what I like is that the product has a
I wouldn't say holistic approach, but all the ingredients kind of work in concert with each other. So like I really like the fact that it has Synephrine and Naringin and Hesperidin, which all seem to amplify one another's effects at certain dosages. And then they put in Salicin in there as well, which appears to even further amplify those doses. So the ingredients kind of work in concert, which I thought was like pretty cool. I also quite like that it has a very high dose of EGCG. There are a lot of fat burners out there that have green tea extract and they don't mention how much EGCG it has, which is the most important ingredient, or they just don't use that much of it, like a lot of people underdose it. The studies are pretty much in line with what Legion Phoenix has included here as well. And while the 5-HTP is a little bit lower than a lot of studies I've seen supporting its use, nonetheless, I mean, anecdotally, it does seem to have a pretty decent effect on your mood as well, and there seems to be some appetite suppressing effects as well. And it's also very reasonably priced as well. Like, it's pretty hard to compare different fat burners across different price ranges just because they all emphasize like different parts of that like fat loss puzzle, appetite suppression, fat oxidation, all this other kind of stuff. But yeah, $1.15, that's pretty good no matter how you cut it. All right, there are some complaints you might have with this product. There are a lot of popular and effective appetite suppressants out there that weren't used here. They didn't have like glucomannan or any psyllium husk or anything like that. So if appetite suppression is like your biggest challenge, there might be some better ingredients out there for you. Another thing I want to mention, it has 5 pills per serving, like 3 at the start of the day, 2 later on. That's quite a lot of pills. It might be like hard for some people to keep track of. I know that can be a frustrating aspect of these sorts of products. It is designed to be taken with caffeine. You don't have to, but they do say a lot on their website that it's better if you have this with like some coffee or something like that, or maybe with a pre-workout, because caffeine does sort of enhance the effects of these ingredients. If you don't like caffeine, that might just kind of be a little bit bothersome. And as far as side effects go, it does appear that it's possible it could increase your thirst, which is super common with fat burners, not a huge deal. But there are also some people that have reported that this does produce some gastrointestinal distress. That's completely anecdotal, and it doesn't happen to everyone, but there are like a pretty small but very vocal minority online that have said that this is a little bit hard to digest. So if you have a really sensitive stomach, that might give you pause. All right, those are my thoughts on Legion's Phoenix Fat Burner. Tracking your calories is way more important, but this does appear like it could give you an edge if you use it the right way. But if you want to see how this stacks up against all the other best-selling fat burners on the market, just make sure you Google our full roundup. Just Google BarBend plus best fat burners.